You're listening to How to 20-something, the best podcast that helps both men and women navigate their 20s and learn how to adult across all aspects of their lives. We're going to focus on career, relationships, finances, fitness, nutrition, and all of the common challenges and obstacles a typical 20-something will face in this post-college life. I'm your host, Jess Diamond, and I am the CEO and founder of Jess Diamond Coaching, where I help young professionals get their shit together, gain their confidence, and own their life. No one prepares you for this adulting world, so allow me to help you feel like you are no longer a chicken running around with its head cut off, and that you actually know what the hell is going on and what your next step to take is. Welcome to How to 20-something. Before this episode begins, I actually want to come on here and announce my very new course for you guys to go check out right now. And it is called How to Make Adulting Suck Less. It is only $37, takes about an hour to go through, and it is an extremely transformative process that will help you with the way you see yourself and how you show up in your relationships. We're talking friendships, dating, workplace, however it may be. If you have someone in your life that you want to deepen a relationship with, then it requires these three things that I walk you through in this course, and as well as some fears and some mindset stuff that typically get in your way. So you should check out the show notes and purchase How to Make Adulting Suck Less, because it is a game-changing course that I designed specifically with you in mind. And while you go check out the link, here is the rest of the episode. Welcome back to another episode of How to 20-something, where today's episode is centered around all of the problems that come with accomplishing things. All the things. And things varies. It could be your daily to-do list, your career path. It could be the next stage in a relationship. It could be centered around your business. And I know this idea sounds a little backwards because we are all constantly seeking a sense of accomplishment that comes with life, something that tells us our day wasn't a waste or that our life isn't for nothing. But when we become so focused on being able to say we got something done, we accomplished something, we become completely blindsided to everything else happening in the process. Or we rush. And when we rush, we make careless mistakes. We create more problems for ourselves. And we move through our lives just trying to get through the task as quickly as possible so we can check the box and move on to the next thing. So while, yes, you are getting everything done, but at what cost? Who is getting hurt, inconvenienced, stressed, or overlooked along the way? This idea for a podcast came from a conversation I had with a client of mine a few weeks ago. And he was talking to me about a rough week he had had with his girlfriend. Or I guess really a rough day, but it was stemming from different things happening and the buildup through that whole week. Now, before I get into the story, I do want to preface this with saying that one of the biggest things I teach my clients are to create lists of things to do that need to get done that day or that week. But I teach it with the intention of helping you understand your time better, so you're not constantly biting off more than you can chew, because that's where the problem starts. This client was telling me he had his to-do list, and he got it all done, and he was proud to tell me so. But then said his girlfriend, on the other hand, was not thrilled. So we broke it down a little further. And there was this one particular day where he kept saying yes to everyone. He said yes to going out of his way to do a favor for a friend, which was buying Pokemon trading cards. He said yes to going grocery shopping so his girlfriend could meal prep while he was busy the next day, since it was his turn to buy groceries. He said yes to meeting up with another friend for lunch. He said yes to himself trying to fix his own car, and yes to going to the gym. He said yes to dinner with a friend who was in town last minute. It was a lot of yeses and not a lot of time for one day. And because he put himself on a tight time crunch for the day, he also put his girlfriend on a sense of urgency all day. He needed the grocery list that second. He didn't take the time to ask her a clarifying grocery item question and made his own decision that she didn't agree with. He needed her to move her car as soon as possible. He was frantically fixing his car and slamming doors while she was trying to nap that afternoon. His urgency has now affected her. But he got everything done, and a very irritated girlfriend to go along with it. Here's the hard truth. Just because you accomplished everything on your list does not mean you did it well. He was efficient and inconsiderate, but his efficiency was also not done with accuracy. Balls got dropped, mistakes were made, so yeah, it did all get done, but it didn't get done with the care that was required. His girlfriend wasn't upset only because of the groceries or moving her car or having her nap disrupted. His girlfriend was upset about the energy he dragged her into that day, the urgency of it all. His poor time management and saying yes to everyone put her in a position she didn't plan for, and it created tension. And I'm telling you this because we're all guilty of doing this. And when you're single and living alone, it doesn't affect anyone else besides you. It's one day of chaos. It doesn't really matter. But what you don't realize is that urgency you feel within yourself is also carrying over to other people you care about, whether you like it or not. Your coworkers, your friends, your roommates, and in my client's case, his girlfriend, whom he lives with. Now, this is not the same as leaning on someone for support when you're dropping balls and expecting them to pick them up in that case, especially when you are living with your partner. I mean, there is for sure a time and place where your partner will pick up the slack that you're dropping. But this particular day was avoidable. My client put himself in a position because of poor boundaries that we are actively working on. So he doesn't have another day like this for a very long time, if ever. And I want to use this episode to highlight this very common occurrence in a go, go, go society and what he could have done differently. And this is what we talked about in our session. He first needed to look at his entire day, take a bird's eye view. What did he already commit to? What could be moved around? What could he say no to? Side note, he has a really hard time saying no to people when they ask him for something, also what we're working on. So if he were to rewind time and do this day again, he would still say yes to the gym. That's important. But he didn't need to stay after as long as he did. After that point, it really all depends on himself. He could have saved working on his car for another day since it ran perfectly fine and wasn't in some dire need of being repaired right then and there. He could have said no to running an errand for a friend. He could have pushed back lunch timing. He could have explained to his girlfriend that he doesn't think he'll have time to go grocery shopping that day, but would love to go together on Sunday, or sent her to go instead even though it was his turn. He could have said no to the last-minute dinner plans. He could have asked for help or grace from the people asking things of him. But instead, he piled it all onto his plate and bit off more than he could chew. And again, he did finish all the tasks. His friend got her Pokemon cards. Other friend got lunchtime. The out-of-town friend got to see him. The groceries did get picked up. The car almost entirely got fixed. But like I said, there were mistakes made along the way, and that's the part I'm talking about. Because on paper, it was a successful day. He did get everything done. But success on paper and success in real life are not always the same thing. And this shows up in different ways across different scenarios. When you have a lot on your plate, you might think that multitasking what you can, where you can, is actually going to help you buy back some time. But multitasking isn't as efficient as you think it is. Statistically speaking, multitasking actually reduces your productivity by up to 40% and slows task completion by 50% while increasing errors. One of the TEDx talks delivered by the fabulous Lanier Malone said a very powerful line in her talk, and it was on the sandwich generation, which was, be where your feet are. Stop trying to be everywhere at once. Be where you are. If you're working, then be at work. If you're hanging with your girlfriend or boyfriend, be with them. If you're on your phone, just be on your phone. Stacking all of your responsibilities and trying to do 2 or 3 things at once creates mistakes. This looks like half listening to what someone is saying while responding to a message on your phone, making decisions without checking in because it's faster for you to decide for the other person than wait for their response, being physically present but mentally elsewhere. It leads people to not feel considered. But hey, you're getting everything done at the expense of someone else. And that's the part I want you to really sit with, because it's easy to justify this behavior when you're the one getting things done. It's easy to say, I'm just busy, I have a lot going on, I'm doing my best. And all of that can be true, but it still doesn't mean you're doing it well. Being busy doesn't excuse being inconsiderate. And if you cannot get a handle on what's on your plate right now, in your 20s, then you're in for a really rude awakening when your responsibilities double. I'm not saying you don't have a lot on your plate right now. You're very much learning how to balance all of your adult responsibilities with the desire to say yes to everything and everyone so you don't miss out on an experience. What I am saying is that by saying yes to everything, you're creating a lot more problems than you might realize. Your patience gets shorter, your communication gets worse, your awareness goes down, your presence disappears. Yes, you were productive, you accomplished everything, but the way you showed up wasn't great, which is where you can start to make the switch that accomplishing things and doing things well require a different focus. Doing things well requires being present, intentional, thoughtful, and accomplishing things is a mindless check on the to-do list. My client didn't need more hours in the day. He needed better boundaries for the day he had, and be realistic about what he could actually stack on his plate as one person in a 12-hour time frame. It's learning what you could say no to, or even not right now, and offer up a reschedule, even if it's something you really want to do. Because getting everything done doesn't mean everything was done well, and your own self-worth is not measured by your ability to say you did everything. Because at the end of the day, you need to realize that people are not tasks on your to-do list. And people very much understand having a loaded plate for one day. Again, you can say no. You can make sure there are time buffers or even moments for rest. You can stop wearing busy as a badge of honor and start showing up in each moment as present as you can be, while also recognizing that something is always going to feel urgent and that it needs to get done that second or that day. So what I want to challenge you to do is pause, slow down, and be where your feet are. Because the goal isn't to get through your life as fast as possible. It's to actually be in it while you're accomplishing it. And that, my friends, is the mic drop I'm going to leave you with when it comes to the problem with always accomplishing things. So this does conclude another episode of How to 20-something. If you liked what you heard, learned something new, can relate to the day my client had, or know someone who needs to stop treating their life like a constant list to check off, then please share this episode. Send it to a friend, post it on social media. Just do something to help me reach as many 20-somethings as I can who are trying to navigate the most confusing decade of their life. And as always, I can't wait to be in your headphones again next week with another brand new episode.